Why don't you introduce yourself?
Yeah, bro, let me introduce myself to everybody. My name is Daniel Perales. I'm better known as Chipz in the Cut, or Chipz for short. I'm 27, bro, and I'm a barber. I've been cutting for about 9, almost 10 years. And I just recently opened up my own barbershop, Creationz Barbershop. So I'm located in Carroll Stream, Illinois.
Yeah, so for anyone traveling from out of state and they're close to the Schaumburg, Carroll Stream, Bartlett, Roselle, even if you're trying to drive from the city to get a
They come from the city. They come from anywhere, bro. They come from anywhere.
I was super scruffy.
I even get guys
today.
from Wisconsin, Indiana. Yeah. They come from anywhere. I'm in Carroll Stream, though. That's where I'm at. But I take anybody.
All right, man. Why don't you start off by telling us, growing up, what got you into barbershop? Was it always like, man, when I grow up? Oh,
man. That's a good one to start off with. Okay, well, so it all started... I just always been into hair, like ever since I was like in junior high. Like I like those styles that stood out to me, So as I started getting old, I didn't really get haircuts like that. But I think once I hit junior high, you kind of want to look good and stuff. So I started getting like, go to salons and get haircuts. And I couldn't get them all the time, I didn't have my own money. I couldn't go. I didn't have my own car. So one time actually, my cousin, he kind of like showed me how to use a razor. He's like, here, if you don't got time to go get a haircut, just kind of like line yourself up a little. Yeah. It looks like you got a haircut. So I'm like, dang, like, all right. I tried it out. I got the hang about it a little bit. I was lining myself up, trying to look fresh, and it just kind of started from there. So I think the razor was the first thing I touched, and then the best story is so I didn't even want to be a barber, but the first time I got put in the pressure was it was like me and two of my homies, and we were going to our freshman homecoming, bro.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and so I kind of got like a haircut. My other boy got a haircut, and one of them just had a fro. So I'm like, bro, you can't go like, you can't go like that. We're going to a whole different school's homecoming with some shorties. Like, you gotta look decent. So I thought about it. I'm like, dude, I remember my mom used to kind of like cut my hair randomly. Like, I know she got some random clippers somewhere.
Yeah.
And I found them, bro, in the bathroom. Like, hey, bro, like, I don't really know what I'm doing, but I know blowouts are a thing right now, and I'm going to try to give you a blowout. So I tried to give him a blowout, a taper, bro. There was lines everywhere, but it was way better than no haircut. So that was the first time I ever touched anything. And then...
how old were you then?
I was a freshman, bro. Yeah, but it was like, I tell you, it was like a one-time, like, hit it and quit it kind of thing. Like, I touched the clippers, messed them up. I'm like, all right, that's not my thing. And just YouTube, really, I kind of stumbled across YouTube videos, and like that's what kind of got me into it too. It's like, hey, like I remember messing up his haircut, so let me watch this video and see how they do it. And then so it kind of like made sense to me, because like, just going from shorter to longer to get the little face, it made sense to me. I'm like, hey, that doesn't look too hard, right?
Yeah.
So
that's what they all say.
Yeah,
right?
It doesn't look too hard. I'm like, hey, now that I kind of seen it like as a little tutorial, it doesn't look too bad. So I'm like, let me give it another shot.
Yeah.
Because my boy still wasn't getting haircuts. So I'm like, hey, you want to get another haircut? But like this time, I kind of think I know what I'm doing better than last time. So I bought some cheap wall. No, they were Target. I bought some cheap Target wall clippers, like Color Pro, $20 set. And sure enough, a couple test runs through, and they were getting slowly better and better. So.
And you were always testing like on the same guy, or did you start?
It started off with one.
Buddies?
It started off with one for sure, and it got to the point where a couple guys were like, "Hey, you're doing free little cleanups at your crib." Like, we were all in high school at this point. This was probably like sophomore, junior year. I still didn't really know how to cut, but I was trying to clean people up, right? So maybe junior year, I think, is when I kind of had the hang of it, where you could come to my house, and it got to the point where I was doing $5 haircuts in my bathroom. I would throw a black trash bag over you, cut a hole in it, and just go at it.
You gotta do what you gotta do, right?
Yeah, so it started that way, and it escalated quicker than I thought, and I kind of got support I didn't even know I had. Next thing you know, I got 2 guys, 3 guys. They each bring me 1 guy or 2. Next thing you know, I'm senior, and I got about 10 or 20 guys coming to me a month. You know.
Like on a weekly status, bi-weekly?
I think in a month, I would probably, so if you want to go weekly, I'd probably have like maybe 1 haircut a day.
Yeah.
If I was free,
Yeah.
Or maybe I'll do 2 in a day, 1 day no. But it probably added up to about like 15 cuts a month, right?
Yeah, so this was probably the reason why me and Daniel met each other at summer school. We failed some shit. So
School wasn't for us. School wasn't for us, bro.
It was biology.
Yeah.
So.
It was English, bro. It was English. Yeah. It was English, bro. Yeah. So, bro, I knew school wasn't really like my thing at that point. You know, I was interested in like artsy stuff, right? Mm-hmm. But I felt like art looked like as a real career. Same with barbering though. But
that's the thing though, right? A lot of people like, your parents always tell you, "Oh, go to school, get an education to get a real job."
For sure,
right?
Bro. Especially,
then what is a real job?
Yeah,
because I know successful barbers. You know, I know successful artists,
and that was my hardest thing in the past, bro. Was haircuts weren't what they were today, bro. It wasn't even barbering back then. It was just salons and small shops, very few barber shops, and haircuts were like $10-15 back then. So, you know, you look at that, you're like, how are you going to make a living trying to do, you know,
$10-15?
Right, exactly. Right? So
you got to cut a whole lot of people to make ends meet, especially nowadays, right? Now, you did say, and I saw it, barbershops weren't that big. Right. I mean, maybe back in the, 70s, 80s, you know, a lot of the times barbershops were just in the projects, right?
Right, and that's the thing. You couldn't find them out here in the suburbs, bro. You know, you hear everybody, I go to the city for a real fade. You know, that was always the thing. I'm like, bro, I can barely go a town over. I don't got no car. I'm not gonna go to the city for a fade. You know, I'm having the salon ladies cut my hair. Yeah. Or if you're lucky, there's a guy at a salon and knows how to fade. So that was kind of the thing out here in the suburbs back then.
Yeah, but you said you were a co-owner. Yeah. Who's the other owner?
The other owner is actually my good friend, Frank Medina. So me and him go way back. I've probably known him since I started cutting hair, honestly. Yeah. And I met him through just colleagues and other barber friends that I made through time. But we just clicked right away. And we always
you guys work together, right? At the last shop.
And exactly. So we always seen each other. We were friends without working for a couple years, but we would always see each other, see the same people, so we were tight. And we ended up at Illy's barbershop together, and we pretty much started there together. I think he was
Shout out to Skittles
always. So we started there. He started there a little bit before me, but he definitely made me feel comfortable making the move with him and the rest of the gang. So we were able to, you know, last a good 5-6 years, I think, there. So you know, and we experienced a lot while we were there. So I think, you know, we stuck it out a lot together, and just us having that bond throughout the years, you know, we kind of both wanted something more. And, you know, it honestly came to one of those things where either I want to shop or he wants to shop, but we kind of always were a team. So it was one of those, like, teamwork makes the dream work kind of visions we had. So,
for sure. Yeah. Now, you guys opened probably 2 months before COVID, right?
No, you know what? No, this is even... No, it wasn't 2 months before COVID. It was actually, I think, even like at a weirder time. During COVID. And it was like, it was such a weird opportunity. And it was one of those things where we thought about it, because it actually happened in about October, right? Mm-hmm. And, you know, there was so much stuff going on in the media. You know, I had so many barber homies in different towns, you know, Cali, Canada, New York, like different states in the... We were lucky in Illinois to still be open, but I knew a lot of people weren't open for months, even during the whole COVID. So I'm like, bro, like, is this even a good idea? I wanted to get a shop, right? You know, before COVID, it was like, it was already there. You know, I knew I wanted it. Now it's just about getting it. But you know, when COVID kicked, it's like, oh, dude, I gotta wait till COVID's over, right? Mm-hmm. So when the opportunity came, it was October. It was right before the elections. There was rumors of like phases going back. So I'm like, dude, like, this doesn't sound like we should do it right now. Yeah. But it's opportunity, you know, when a door opens, get it, you know, take it or lose it, you know, and I felt very confident that we would make it work no matter what struggle would go in our way. Obviously, if we had to shut down, we'd have to shut down and we'd have to figure it out. But we both came to that agreement that it was worth it, you know, it was worth the risk. Why wait till COVID's over? Why not try to start the company and the brand now? And when COVID's over, we could have that head start. We don't got to deal with starting, because I feel like when COVID is over, there's going to be a big rise with maybe more shops or more traffic. And I feel like the game's even going to change more. So if we can kind of get our foot in now and establish ourselves, we can be ahead of what we want to really be doing after COVID's over.
Yeah. So we see a lot of new barbershops open and new young barbers getting into the industry, right?
Yeah. They're coming hot, bro. They're coming hot. It wasn't like this when I started.
When you started, it wasn't like this. So how have you seen this, you know, change? Is there more regulations? Do kids got to go through more now?
Okay, yeah.
Is there more schooling?
Definitely, bro. Definitely. Because when I started cutting hair, bro, you know what? It was almost one of those things where the people that I knew that were cutting hair, they kind of learned on their own.
Yeah.
Trial and error and just learning on their own and getting in the shop. And really that's what it is. It's all hands-on. Or most of it's hands-on. But I think social media had a big impact on it back then because when I started cutting hair, going into barber school, Instagram just started, right? So it was a fresh plate. You know, I knew raw ass barbers. I'm like, they didn't even have profiles to showcase their work. It was all word of mouth in real life time. You know, there wasn't nothing you could look at. So I started right around that time when social media kicked in, Snapchat, Instagram. You know, they were popping. People were getting reposts and likes and everything. So that was, I started when it started. So it was kind of one of those things where it's just like you just gotta figure it out as you go, right?
Yeah.
And throughout time, I feel like barbering got such a big impact on social media. You know, you see all these people posting these crazy cuts. It's like, I want this, I want that. It got to the point where when I was a kid getting haircuts, you would go in there and ask for the book. You know, you got the salon picture book. I can, you know, or they got the poster. I want the number one, number 5, the 5, but put a little bit of 13 in there too, right? So that was the thing back then, and now it's all pulling out the phone and hey, like I want this haircut, and they're showing you all these crazy barbers. So I think that had a big influence on these young people, seeing that a lot of people were actually being successful through social media, and I think that's what grabbed a lot of the younger people's attention, saying, hey, these guys are doing it, they're all young, they're all looking good, they're all making money, I want to do the same. But I feel like when I started cutting hair, you didn't really have too many people to look up to on social media, so it was more about like if you knew somebody that can kind of like give you that direction, then
and who gave that direction to you?
Who gave that direction to me back then?
Like who influenced your flow, right? You know, when you first started, it's probably way different method than what you're doing now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And do you continue, I guess you could say, your education on new styles, new forms, like even maybe introducing new equipment to your routine?
Yeah, dude, games changed always, bro, always. You know, I feel like back then, I mean, there was always technique to it, but I think now everybody kind of tries to break the barrier of just the fundamentals and kind of make their own style to it. So you see a lot of people doing different things, and you kind of want to pick at everybody and grab little things and make your own style. So I feel like when I started, I didn't really have
you're kind of more by the book, more like I gotta do this,
right,
this,
right, more by the book. And it was more about learning from your peers around you, you know what I'm saying? So when I started, I didn't really have no one cutting around me, so it was more trial and error on myself, and then watching videos, learning off of, you know, very few, you know, tutorials that you could find online for free on YouTube. Once I went into barber school, I learned from my teachers, you know, shout out to Ross and Tom from the Barber Academy. I learned from those guys, but it was more so learning from my barber friends, you know. I see that, and then that's the thing, everybody's so cool in the barber community. Like, they all want to see you do good. So, you know, I watched, you know, one of my friends do a cut, or they watch me do a cut, and we kind of just bounce off each other. So I think the learning stage, you learn from the dudes from school, and then definitely when I went to my first barbershop, Shave Legends, Charlie, he took me in, and I was very happy that he let me be a part of something new. You know, he just opened up a shop. I was one of his first few barbers, so I picked up styles from there. You know, so I already learned my fundamentals, and then I'm kind of trying to perfect them. And then that's when I switched over and I went to Illy's, and that's kind of where I got most of my.
That's where you flourished.
Right. I think that's where I peaked a lot. And then kind of, it's funny you say that, because back then I feel like there wasn't many people putting out too much online content. But then I started noticing that people were traveling for education. So, you know, I started seeing a lot of movement of people seeking more to learn from, and more, you know, there was more to hair than what you know. You know, I just knew fades and lineups and graphics, but, you know, I think length started kicking in, you know, and with social media, you start seeing these trends coming from different countries, different continents. Yeah. So I started seeing some traffic coming in, and I think I got very excited. I was like, yo, like, these guys are learning a lot. Like, what's all this stuff? So game definitely changed throughout the years. There's a lot more education out there, so there's more to seek. And on top of that, there's so much more equipment now than there was. You know, everybody's going wireless. They're bringing out all these crazy, you know, spray guns, different shit. You know, like back then it was very basic. Now it's all about brand, and you know, there's so many different brands out there. So you're trying to find yourself which one works for you, you know?
Yeah. So for the young barbers, I guess, what do you recommend for them to do? Just put in the hours.
Honestly, bro. It's just putting in the work. Don't half-ass it. You know, you gotta really be committed. And I feel like a lot of people are committed, but there's also those that kind of they do it for fun, or like they kind of want to get in there, but they don't give it its full attention, and it's like one of those things.
What's a business, man?
You're are the business. At the end of the day, you're the one that's selling your service. So you really got to put in the hours. But as far as that as advice I'd give to new barbers, I would say definitely put in the work and
stick to those YouTube videos.
Fundamentals,
right? Fundamentals.
Keep learning, and be open-minded. You know, because there's always so much you can learn, and there's always so much you can learn not to do, which is also like a lesson. You know.
Yeah. So I guess if you can't take criticism on your work,
for sure, and that's and you know what? It's funny because I'm a student that way too, and for the longest I couldn't. It's funny. I wouldn't even let myself be a student because I didn't like the criticism, you know? I want to think everything's perfect and I don't need to touch it up. But, you know, when you start to admit to your certain flaws, you can kind of like learn how to go around them and perfect it and be even. Yeah, exactly. And I think the main goal is to just, even as a new barber or as a barber that's been in the game for years, is just to be a better version of yourself, you know? Be a better barber than you were last year, you know?
Yeah. What are your next steps from here? I mean, you got your barbershop, you got a good clientele.
Right.
You said people are traveling, but not with the whole, you know, COVID thing. I know people will still travel, obviously. Yeah. But is there a opportunity for you to do something where, like, you sell, like, basics, right? Barber 101 basics. You make, like, a 10-video tutorial, and you sell that, right? Is that something you're doing? Like,
you know what?
Are you still staying in the barber industry? Are you trying to move over to somewhere?
No, definitely.
What are your goals, I guess, for the future for you?
Yeah, that's a hard one because there's so much that I would like to do, but sometimes you just got to be real realistic with what you got and take care of certain things one at a time, or try to work around it as long as there's a right balance. So, I mean, right now, because I just opened the shop, I feel like my main focus tends to be to focus on the shop. Yeah. So it's more about taking care of the team and the brand and trying to build it and get it established. But I feel like I've always been like a self-entrepreneur type, like where it's like I kind of promote myself as well. So definitely with the traveling, I traveled for education, right? And with the COVID shutdown, I feel like everybody switched over to online platform, you know, because you couldn't really travel so much. So
now, do you get? I know a lot of kids. Yeah, they're like, oh well, you know. I mean, shit, even I got ADHD, right? I can't sit in front of a screen for 3 hours. No, bro. And is it different, obviously, or is it that much different from you going to another, you know...
To a hands-on type of class? Yeah, so that's kind of what I was going to tell you is that I would love to make videos, but there's so much content out there already. It's like I feel like I don't need to put my energy into that right now. Yeah. Because I felt like
the market's already saturated.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. You could find 1,000 fade videos, hundreds of fade videos. You know, there's a lot of shear work videos, programs. People pay for programs now, so I mean, there's online courses.
Now, do they get like licensed through those courses? Do they get certified?
You know what? No, it's more just what you gain out of it. I think some of them might give you a certificate or two, but it's not really about the certificate. It's about what you learn from it. It's what you take. So I think in that aspect, I wouldn't want to make a video and put it out there like that online. I would rather make a personal impact to someone who really needs me, right? The same way I went to someone to get that help that I wanted. I would rather do that organic growth and get people on a hands-on basis, you know, and then from there, if it works out and people like the results and it gets a following, then that's on that. But I'm not looking for the fame. I'm not looking for an online platform. I'm looking for just in real life connections, right? Yeah. You know, that's the best one for me.
So the connections. What made you pick your team over at Creationz? Like, what made you say, hey, obviously you and Frank, but your other buddy Gio's there, right?
Right, yeah.
So what made you reach out to Gio other than him being a good buddy?
Right. And
like, it's like...
I mean, I don't want to sugarcoat it. Obviously, he's one of my greatest buddies, but I think it was just one of those things where it's like, it's something new and it's something we're doing in a whole different stage in our lives, you know? We were young, we were cutting, we were having fun, and I think now it's like we want to do just like we want to set goals and achieve things, right? So I wanted to consider people that I would really
like-minded,
and someone that I would really want to enjoy those moments with, right? So you do want to go to your friends first, and then just like, hey man, like you want to ride and do this together, and offer them obviously an opportunity as well, not just have them go for the joyride. And
did you ever look at, because sometimes, you know, and I'm not saying your business is doing bad, right? Because I know it's doing good. Did you ever think of it going south, and then that friendship is like...
Oh, for sure, you know bro. Yes, for sure. Because I mean, just even opening up with a friend, you know, you get the criticism of you shouldn't mix friendship with business, and I understand that. Yeah. But at the same time, you got to risk it, you know, and if you feel like you trust them enough, and I think working around certain people for years, you really do notice their ethic. You know, I've worked with Gio, so
yeah.
What happened?
I get you.
I'll keep going. All right.
Go ahead to that part.
Nah, yeah. So, back to your question though, bro. It is hard mixing friendship with business, but I feel like with barbering, it's a little bit different because you wanna win with your friends. Honestly, in this one, you know, you're not competing with each other. You're trying to both bring that bread home. You're both trying to just become successful, right? And then
successful together.
Right, exactly. And so like I feel like, especially with opening up a shop, it was something exciting, and I wanted to share my success with the right people and let them enjoy it with me, you know?
For sure. All right, man. Well, thanks for stopping by. Right?
And thanks for having me, Alex. Thanks for having me over, bro.
For sure. Tell them your IG, where they can reach you at.
Yeah, so
website.
So it's at Chipz in the Cut is my Instagram. And as far as the barbershop page, it's Creationz Barbershop. Creationz with the Z Barbershop. And if you ever want to book with me online, I go through the barbershop website. It's creationzbarbershop.com. So if anybody ever wants to book with me, they could just go online. It's very easy to use, and I have a very wide open schedule. So I mean, I tailor to most times. I'm working almost every day, so I'm always available as long as you book ahead of time.
For sure. Be sure to reach out to Chipz, right? Even if
even if you're not trying to get a haircut, like I love the industry. I'm trying to give back to the industry, so that's why I put myself out there. You know, I felt like I just stayed for the barbershop. I was behind the chair, but I want to be everywhere else. You know, I want to make an impact in the industry.
Right? For sure.
So
even if you don't want to cut with Chipz, he's got other barbers. Right?
I got other barbers. Yeah, exactly. Sure. You know, everybody specializes in something different. That's what I love. You know, everybody tailors their own style, and you could use that to your advantage and add it to, you know, to your palette of what you can bring out there and, you know, create some art. That's what we're here to. We're here to create, and we're here to create together.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you, bro. Thank you.